it's Lisa Rothman, the founder of StopFamilyConflict.com, with a collaboration tip. It's my intent that this, and my expectation, that this will spare you from a lot of conflicts, help de-escalate conflicts, help prevent conflicts in your life. I was thinking about it because I was speaking with a woman recently who serves on the Parent-Teacher Association at the school where one of her children goes. And she was sharing why she was so interested in having me come speak at the school about how to prevent and repair family conflicts. And she talked about how with her daughter, it's evening time and her daughter is on the screen and she says, okay, time to brush teeth. And there's conflict that arises. And as we delved more deeply into what was going on, and I asked, okay, so what exactly do you say to your daughter in those situations? Because her daughter ignores her or gets really angry, tells her to go away. The mom shared that what she says is, daughter, you have to get off the screen because there are all these things that you have to do before you go to bed. So that's why this particular collaboration topic came to mind, because both the language itself of you have to, paired with the mindset that prompts someone to say you have to, contribute to conflict. And I want to share why that is, and then I want to give you some alternatives that I think will be both more accurate and more effective and more helpful in getting into a collaborative framework with the person that you're speaking with. Okay, so the mindset that undergirds you have to is this idea that there are no options. This is the only option. This is the one and only option. And when we are thinking that something is the one and only option and it therefore has to be done, we are in a very constricted place. We have a lot of demand energy because this is the only option. Getting off that screen to brush teeth, these are the things that have to be done before we go to bed. If we don't get them done, bunker mentality, we have to do them. And that then is the energy, the demand energy that really anybody on the receiving end is going to resist, but particularly a young person who is typically going to prioritize autonomy, choice, these needs for power, autonomy, and choice over all others. That's typically what a young person is going to do. So this mindset that would lead someone to use this language is already going to be difficult if we want to prevent conflicts. The language itself is problematic because it's simply not true. We don't have to do anything, ever. Nobody has to get off the screen. No one has to brush their teeth. No one has to do their homework. No one has to have a job. No one has to tell a representative from a totalitarian regime who their friends are, even with a gun to their head. No one has to do any of those things. Absolutely. The consequences of saying no to some of those things are horrible. But everybody has a choice. Older people do, and younger people do. And most younger people are well aware of this somewhere. And so the language, the inaccuracy of the language, it's out of integrity to say, as an older person or as any person, you have to do this. And the younger person, if they buy into this premise, they're out of their own integrity by buying into it. And I cannot tell you how many times when I'm working with families and I share this truth about no one has to do anything, typically the parents are like, what do you mean? And the kids feel, it's like they say, they look so relieved and they say, that's what I've been thinking all along. And so to have what they sense is their reality, it's like they've to now have an adult share what they experience, what their sense of the world is so affirming to them. So What then leads so many people, and perhaps even yourself, and certainly this mother that I was talking to say, you have to do X? Okay, I think it's fear about what happens if X doesn't happen. And that then leads us to the alternative, which I think is going to be far more connecting and collaborative, which is rather saying you have to get off that iPad because you have to brush your teeth, because these are the things that you have to do before bedtime. The alternative is, it's really important to me, daughter, that you get off that iPad now. Because if you don't, my fear is that it will be much later before you brush your teeth, which means it'll be much later before we're snuggling and I'm reading that book to you, which means that it's going to be far later for you winding down and me and you getting the rest that I know I need and which I believe you need in order to be able to function tomorrow. And so that is why, daughter, my very strong request is that you get off the iPad now. So no have-tos, no giving up on what is absolutely important to me, but providing the information about why it's important and what my own fears are. And then it's entirely possible that, look, is this going to be a magic wand and all of a sudden the daughter's going to be like, great, can't wait to get off the iPad? I am not saying that will be the case. What I am saying, though, is at least the resistance that comes from demand energy and saying something that isn't true, at least that's off the table. And then, sure, let's follow it along. Let's say the daughter says, I don't want to get off now. Okay, well, why not? What's important to you? How many more minutes are left on that show? Do you not see value in toothbrushing? Do you find you are able to wind down? How do you feel about the amount of rest you're getting? There's a whole world of additional exploration that can happen from a much more collaborative place as opposed to a top-down, I'm telling you what to do, and I'm dodging my own fear about what happens if you don't by using this authoritarian, inaccurate language saying you have to do anything. All right, so my wish for you going forward, may you experience the ease that comes from shifting this mindset and that comes from using different language. And in my experience, for me, and maybe this will be true for you, I found it extremely liberating to understand exactly how much choice I always have in each and every moment, and that nobody can take that choice away from me, even if the choices are incredibly constrained and the consequences are difficult. At least I still retain my own sense of empowerment and agency in what I choose to do. All right. If you enjoy these videos, please subscribe, hit bells, hit likes, share them with people, do all the things. I would greatly appreciate it. Bye for now.